What's up, brand builder? Stephen Hurahan here at BrandMasterAcademy.com, and in this video you're going to learn 15 ways to create brand awareness for your brand so you can put that brand on the map, but more importantly into the mind of your audience during the buying decision. Now, before we dive in, if you're new to the channel and you want to build brands that go beyond visuals using strategy, psychology, and creative thinking, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you'll be well on your way. Now, brand awareness is one of the very first challenges for any new brand coming into the marketplace because nobody's aware that the brand exists and they have to change that. But most brands come into the marketplace and they end up fizzling out and dying out without having ever had any brand awareness. And that is the reason that most brands fail, because they fail to get that awareness. So in this video, I want to talk to you about 15 different techniques that you can use so you can change the fate of your brand and make sure that you're not one of those brands that fizzle out without any awareness, and put your brand on the map to influence those buying decisions. Now, before we go diving into the techniques, I just want to set the groundwork here. Building a brand is not easy. Building brand awareness is not easy. Taking a brand from obscurity and putting it on the map is not easy. It takes commitment, it takes sacrifice, and it takes effort. But if you are prepared to do that, then you can make these techniques work for you. Technique number one, show up where they're most active. Now, there is an old saying, be everywhere, and that alludes to the idea that you need to be on every single platform. But if you are on every single platform, you're going to do those platforms and be on those platforms half-arsed. You don't want to do that. You don't want to spread yourself too thin. You want to identify who your audience is and where they congregate most, where they're active most, where they're going to engage with you most, and go there and engage with them. Engage with them about the posts that they're sharing, about the content that they like, about the questions that they're asking, and give your 2 cents. Be supportive and engage where they're at. Number two, incentivize advocacy. Now, if you're a new brand, you might need to wait to implement this technique, but when you do have an experience that takes your customers through and provides them with a successful outcome, they're going to be happy to share their experience. And if you incentivize them with a referral fee or with a VIP pass or a bonus or whatever it might be to go out and talk about their happy experience, then you will drive more business and more awareness to your brand. Number three, create a bonus offer for another audience. So what does that mean? So let's say there is an influencer or a brand that shares the same audience with you and they offer something to their customers. Then you can align with that brand and offer an incentive, offer some kind of bonus that puts you in front of their audience. Now, for example, if you are a brand specialist, you might align with somebody else that shares the same audience that you do in your niche, and you might offer a discovery call as a bonus to what they're offering their customers. That way you align yourself with that influencer and you raise your brand profile by aligning with that influencer, plus you're creating a steady flow of leads and raising your brand awareness. Number four, create high value for organic social reach. Now, Facebook back in the old days, when you posted a post, then most of your followers would see it. But today that's completely different. If you post something on your page today, maybe 5% or even 3% might see that post. But there are other social platforms that still offer really great organic reach, and if you go on there and if you share high value content, then you can really extend your reach. So for example, if you post high value content on LinkedIn and one of your followers likes your content, then chances are your content will show up in the feeds of their followers. So that is a great example of how you can create high value content within social to extend that organic reach and bring more awareness to your brand. Number five, create high value searchable content. So your customers, your audience, they have a problem and they are online searching for ways to overcome that problem. So if you create optimized search friendly content that they can search for, and Bing or Google or YouTube can show your content to that audience, well then you are going to grow your brand awareness. You're going to get in front of people that didn't know you before because you are creating helpful content, and Google is looking at your optimized content, or YouTube or Bing is looking at that content and putting it in front of those people. So understand the challenges that your audience is going through, what they're searching for, what they're looking for, what keywords they're using, and create content around that and optimize it for those search platforms. Number 6, leverage a unique personality and tone of voice. Now, this is becoming more and more important. Whether you're a personal brand or a business brand, you need to be personable. You need to have personality. You need to have a unique tone of voice. If you go out there and you sound like every single other brand, you're going to blend in. So understand who your audience is, understand the personality that they have and what they're attracted to, and develop out your personality and your unique tone of voice that they are going to be attracted to. Number 7, create high valuable shareable content. Now, this predominantly was created before in the form of infographics. Now, infographics can still work, but they have really been overdone. But today, this is really translated into carousel posts today. If you're able to go on Instagram or LinkedIn and create helpful carousel posts that are visually engaging, that will teach your audience something, and it is bite-sized so they can learn something really, really quickly in a few short slides that are visual and are helpful and are engaging, then they are more likely to share that content and extend your reach and brand awareness. Number 8, guest on a podcast. Now, you might think that you already need to be an influencer to get on somebody else's podcast, but you would be surprised at how many influencers just love the industry that they're in. They just love talking about the industry that they're in. And if you send enough influencers an email to put forward your point of view, and this is where your unique personality and your unique tone of voice and unique perspective come into play, if they see that you have something unique to bring to the table, they're more than likely happy to have you on their show and put you in front of their audience. Number 9, create high value guest post content. Now, I did this a lot when I started off, when I had no name at all, when I had no personal brand, I had a very small business brand. I did guest posting a lot. Now, it was hard work because these posts weren't sitting on my domain. They weren't sitting on my website. They weren't helping my SEO. They were helping somebody else's SEO. But in return, I get exposure to their audience. I increased my reach and I increased my brand awareness. So if you have the ability to write content, then go out there and look for platforms that will accept content and allow you to guest post on there. Number 10, be polarizing. Now, if you just go out there and regurgitate everything else that's already been said in the marketplace, then you're going to blend in. You really need to find your own unique voice. And this taps into what I said earlier about your unique personality, your unique tone of voice, but you need to have your own perspective. You need to talk about your industry from your own point of view and develop your own sense of what's going on so that people will see you as a thought leader. Because as I said, if you just go out there and regurgitate everything that is out there, you're going to blend in. So don't be afraid to be polarizing. Take an opposite point of view to someone else and challenge the status quo. Number 11, use paid advertising. Now, when most business owners set up a business for the first time, especially newbie entrepreneurs, they believe that once they create their business, then they can just turn on Facebook ads and all of a sudden they'll have customers running to them. But it doesn't work like that at all. And if you have any experience with paid advertising or Facebook ads, you know that it's a game of numbers and you really need to be able to optimize your campaigns, and you really need to know who they are. You need to know who your audience is, because to be honest, we scroll past 99% of ads that are out there, and it can become a money pit, especially for newbie entrepreneurs getting into paid advertising for the first time. So you really need to know who your audience is and what to say to them. And that leads us on to our next step. Number 12, use a communications strategy. Now, most brands are built today through visuals, through a logo and a website, and away they go. Very few brands are built with strategy, and even fewer are built with a communications strategy. But you need to really understand who your audience is, what journey they're on, what they're going through, what trials and tribulations and challenges they have, and what emotions they have connected to those challenges. And then you need to break down the key messages that you want your audience to understand about your brand before you go out and start communicating. Once you have that, then you can go out and create your Facebook ads or your website copy or your brochures, whatever piece of communication that you might put out there in the marketplace. But before you do that, you really need to understand that audience and what you want them to know and think about your brand. Number 13, give something away for free. Now, lead magnets have been around for a long time, but they're not going away anytime soon. They will be here for years and years to come. And there's a reason for that. We all love the idea that we can have one of our challenges removed by a little freebie package that we can get by just giving away our email. So if you can identify the challenges that your audience is going through, those little micro challenges that you can help them overcome in exchange for your email, then you can create an asset that will drive traffic and will build that awareness. Number 14, invest time in groups. Now, let's be honest, there are a lot of crap groups out there where it's all about self-promotion and it's all about sales, and there's no real engagement in those groups. But there are some groups that are very, very engaged, and you have people in there that are genuinely sharing their experiences, their challenges, asking questions, and you have other people in there helping out, and they are really engaged communities. And Logo Geek is a perfect example of that. That's run by Ian Paget, and he's created an awesome community in there of everybody in there helping each other out and asking questions. And if you identify 2, 3, or 4 groups like that in your niche, and you go in there and you help people with their questions and their challenges, then you will grow awareness through that group. And number 15, create your own podcast. Now, when it comes to getting on as a guest on a podcast of somebody else, as I said before, you might think that you need to be an influencer, but you don't. You will have a lot of influencers taking you on as a guest, but it is harder than creating your own podcast. And again, you might need to think that you need to be an influencer already to create a podcast to be able to attract guests onto your show. But again, you will be surprised because influencers, they just love to talk about their industry and they will jump onto a podcast even with few or little followers. So really take the time to define what it is that you want your podcast to be about, what's unique about your podcast, and start reaching out to people that you see as influencers in your space that you might be able to interview. And once you interview them, you align with that personality, you align with that influencer, and thus raise your own brand profile. Now, there are a lot of techniques there, and you might be tempted to try and implement as many as you can. But my advice would be to take 2, 3, or maybe 4 and really commit to them. Really commit to going in hard and being consistent. And that consistency is the key here. If you are consistent with 2 or 3 of these techniques, they will work out for you. They will show results. So really identify the techniques that will suit you and your brand the most and commit to those techniques. And over time, you will see your traffic grow, you will see your awareness grow, and you will start to influence the minds of your customers about what your brand means. And you will be in their mind when it comes time to those buying decisions. But I would love to hear from you about your brand awareness challenge. Have you overcome that challenge? Have you landed on the map and into the minds of your customers, or are you struggling to really get that traction? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer all of those. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell as well. It'll let you know when I've got new videos coming out. If you want more actionable brand strategy tips and techniques just like these ones, head on over to BrandMasterAcademy.com and get yourself signed up for the list. It is free and I keep some exclusive content for that list as well. And there are plenty of resources on there to help you get going with brand strategy. If that's what you want to do, you can download those and get going straight away. But as I said, I would love to hear from you about your challenges, about your experiences. I'll do my best to answer all of those. Until next time, brand like a master, and I will see you in the next video.